Hey, what's going on everybody? Alex with you here again as usual. Thank you for dropping by for yet another chess video. I've actually been kind of sick for the past couple of weeks. Seems like every other video that I do, I'm always saying I've been sick. I've been sick. Actually, my voice went out. This is probably the best my voice has been. Last week, I was trying to make the same video and I was so, I was whispering. Anyways, I want to kind of revisit the ChessUp board today and talk a little bit about what I've learned. I've had this board for about a month now, and which gave me plenty of time to test the board out and try to understand more what makes this board unique and makes this board different from the other boards. I was really trying to basically test the board out as much as I can with not so much just playing chess on it, but really trying to understand all of the assistance settings and try to understand how in practice those assistance settings could be used to improve your chess game and make you be able to understand different strategical elements and tactical elements of the game. So basically this video I wanted to kind of maybe play through a game and talk a little bit about what actually in practice makes this board what it is. Before I get started though, I did want to kind of mention, if you've seen my previous video on ChessUp, you may have noticed that when I was playing the game and showing you guys the board up close, there were a couple of times when a piece would be standing on the board and it would be kind of blinking periodically in this like purple color. That is something I forgot to mention in the previous video. When you initially get the board, okay, and you open up the box, there's this like instruction pamphlet. And within the instruction pamphlet, one of the things that is important that you do, one of the steps, is to calibrate the board. What exactly calibration of the board entails, like underneath the board on a technical aspect, I'm not really sure, but all in all, what it does is you have to take all the pieces off the board completely. You have to set the board up on a flat surface, preferably the surface that you're going to be playing your game on. Like, so for example, here on the table, if I was to play, which I am going to do, but if I was to play a game, I would start off by going into the ChessUp app on my phone. And then when you fully register and everything, you're able to get into the app itself. First thing that I did, and first thing that I would recommend, of course, if you have the board, is make sure that you do all the firmware updates for the board. But then before starting to play, there is an option to calibrate the board, and that is a really important option because without all the pieces, it basically does something within the board to where it balances out the board's ability to recognize the pieces where they should be. And that way you don't have any of those flickering lights that you saw in the previous video, if you did happen to see those. So that's an important little detail that I wanted to mention that I forgot to mention in the previous video. Calibrate the board and then set up your pieces and you're ready to go, okay? So without spending too much time talking and you guys seeing my face, just wanted to say we've got some snow recently. Actually, a couple of days ago it started snowing. And now we got snow everywhere in November. So pretty. This is the first snow of the season, and really, really cold outside and unpleasant, but it looks nice. So definitely not a time to go out and venture somewhere in this cold, but this is the perfect time to sit down, have a cup of coffee, and just kind of watch some chess, I guess. So thanks a lot for sticking around. Okay, so without further taking up any more of your time, let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to zoom in the camera onto the board so we can take a look and kind of make you understand some of the things that I've learned with the board, some of the things that I've kind of learned as playing, and some of the things that I wanted to share with you guys. So I think this is going to be fun. It's not going to be a super long video, but hopefully it's going to be informative, entertaining, whatnot, you know. Alrighty, so here's the board. The very first thing that I'm gonna go ahead and do is show you guys how to calibrate the board. I had to shut my blinds down because even though with the direct daylight you can still see the board really clearly and all the little indicators. For the camera, I noticed that because it's kind of reflected off the window, it wasn't giving us a really good bright view, and I want this to be kind of semi-bright so you guys could see all that I'm going to show you. So I have my ChessUp app opened up here, and I just turned on the board. The very first thing you'd want to do is you want to go to, hopefully you guys will be able to see it here, where it says board updates on the profile. First of all, you definitely want to make sure that you update do the firmware update, and then here's the calibrate board. The calibrate board here basically tells you set it on an even surface, remove all the pieces, and when you're ready, just click continue. And what it does is basically it does this number, and that's it. And then on your phone, it'll say it's calibrated successfully. So the calibration has been completed. Okay. At this point, you can go ahead and set your pieces back, and when you do set your pieces, you will notice that as you're setting your pieces on the board, the little squares will actually go dark, which tells you that it recognizes that there is now a piece on that square. Hopefully my head is not in the shot. I really don't like when my head or half of my body is in the shot, but here we go. So we got all the pieces set up, and we'll set up the dark pieces too. So I've tested the board quite extensively, and I've tested the board without connecting it to the phone, and I tested the board connecting it to the phone. One of the main differences that I noticed is that when you connect the board to the phone, then it will actually feed off of the phone's here we go. Off of the phone's internet connection, and it will actually consult with Stockfish. So, as we all know, Stockfish is pretty powerful, and it can give us good analysis of the position and give us some degree of assistance if we need assistance. Okay. But one of the things I did want to mention is that when it comes to analysis of the position, at least, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but to what I'm perceiving is the fact that the chess engine that analyzes the game actually analyzes the current position. So let's say, for example, you're playing a game and then you wanted some degree of analysis from Stockfish or from any other chess engine. It really doesn't care that much about what happened beforehand. It just looks at the current position and gives which is I guess it makes sense, but what I'm trying to say is that if you're playing with assistance mode on the game, and even if you're losing, it will still, like, you know, you might be 10 points behind or whatever, you know you're losing. The computer is not going to be like, oh, you should just resign, you're so far behind. No, the computer will still analyze every position if you want it to, and then even if you're like almost losing the game, if you have a couple of moves and you click, it'll still tell you based on the amount of moves that you have left, like, this is the best move. It's the best move. It's not going to get you far, but it's the best move. So that's something to take into consideration. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. One of the things that I want to kind of show you guys is when you click a new game, and what I did is I didn't necessarily like do over the board or online. I didn't really care about that, because what I was really testing this board to be is how well does the AI work, and how well does it work to assist you to understand the game a little bit better and that type of thing. And so over here on the very top, I'm going to kind of go a little bit more in depth, but you have this assistance and you have 6 levels. The very first level is no assistance whatsoever. Basically, the only thing that it will show you is the possible moves that the pieces can make. And if you hit on a piece like that, it'll light up in purple. So it'll show you where the piece position is, which one is selected. And then it'll only show you like where the pieces can go. Just like I'm doing right now, you could see that everything will light up in blue, and basically no assistance whatsoever. Okay. The second one over here is actually kind of neat, because it's almost like no assistance. Okay, and everything will light up in, well, right now it's lighting up in blue because I haven't selected start game yet, but everything will light up in green. So all the moves, the possible moves, will light up in green. That's it. Pretty much nothing else, except for one little caveat. If the board or the chess engine recognizes a specific blunder, like, for example, if I'm going to be putting my piece in danger and I'm really not getting much out of it, it's like a direct blunder, it'll show me and it'll say, look, you're about to lose your piece there. Or if the computer really thinks it's a bad move, it'll say, yeah, like, it's going to be blunder, okay? It's actually kind of nice because this type of assistance is really no assistance, therefore it's not really distracting, and it's not really giving you any hints or anything, so it allows you to play the game like you would normally without really any, except for one little thing, like if you're playing a game and you're trying to do your best without any assistance, you're really thinking all your moves, but as we are all prone, sometimes you make a little bit of a mistake here or there. You don't want to end up like blundering your piece away, you know, just because you thought about everything, you're really trying. I mean, this happened to so many of us, you know, so many of us normal mortals, I guess, not grandmasters. I mean, grandmasters still make mistakes, but it's just that sometimes it feels really crummy when you're playing a game and you think you're doing really well, and then all of a sudden it was just a silly mistake and you blundered a big piece somewhere, and you know, you don't want to fall into that situation. So this would be a great sort of beginning assistance to where it'll hopefully eliminate or reduce the likelihood of you having that situation, okay? Because I know that when you're really trying to play a good game and you just blunder a piece for just a mistake, you know, and then the whole game goes south, you know, you don't feel good because you still put in all that time and you were really trying, okay? The third level of assistance here is going to give us a blunder and a mistake. So the blunder will once again turn in red, and then the mistake will be blue. So a mistake may not necessarily be something directly to where like, okay, this, you know, you're about to lose a piece, but it's a little bit lighter than a blunder, and it's still going to probably you know, be detrimental to your game. Not as much, but it's nice to see that this sort of assistance level 3 still gives you some assistance, but it's on a very light level, okay? So it's not going to show you inaccuracies. Inaccuracies, good, excellent, and best moves are all going to turn green, so you are not going to be given a distinction between, oh, this move is best and this one is good, or this one is inaccurate. So there's going to be no difference between an accurate move and best move, which means that it's all going to be ultimately up to you to decide which move is best, which move you think is best. The only thing that it'll warn you is just, you know, some mistakes that are pretty close to blunders, but not quite, okay? And blunders. So this is kind of a medium level of assistance. Still gives you something, but level 4 will include inaccuracies. So now you are basically seeing that good, excellent, and best moves are all going to be highlighted in green. So this level 4 is pretty much most of the assistance that anybody's going to need, really. I think this is a very optimal, good, balanced assistance, because that way you're still given the, you know, the ability to determine whether any particular move is good, excellent, or best. So it's going to be still up to you to decide, hey, you know, I think that this move is better than this one. Well, that's up to you, okay? And then we have a level 5, which throws in good and inaccuracy all in one category, which could potentially be confusing if you think about it. I mean, there is a difference between a good move and an inaccurate move. If you put those in two categories, now the player has to decide, well, is that a good move? So it almost feels like level 4 is a little bit better, because it groups mistake and inaccuracy in one group. So we know those are not so good. And it leaves good, excellent, and best. So 5 puts good and inaccurate in one category, which means that they kind of want you to strive for excellent or best, which is great. So level 5 is more concerned about you just following the greens as opposed to the blues. Because if you're trying to, in level 5, determine whether the move was good or inaccurate, basically try to think as much as you can yourself, and then you know, if you really feel like you need help, you can always click on the piece, and then it'll show you whether or not that's a good move or not. And then lastly, the top level of assistance that you are allowed here will categorize blunders, mistakes, and inaccuracies all in red. Good and excellent moves are going to be in blue, and best moves are going to be in green. So the best moves on the board will be in green. In theory, if you're playing in level 6 and you're just simply following the chess engine, you can play against the highest level, I suppose, in theory, okay? In theory, you can play against the highest level ELO on the board, which is 3,000. So which would be equivalent to like close to a grandmaster level. At least it's a computer, not a real person. But as we all know, real person and a computer play a little bit differently. So, but still, you can play against the highest level provided, and as long as you just click on all the pieces and find that green, theoretically you should be able to win the game, because then, unless there's a couple of best moves in one particular situation, but usually the way that it works is you'll get a very limited amount of greens. I've encountered pretty much one green per move, because it's going to be the best move in the whole position. So therefore, if you don't even need to really think. I mean, I'm not saying that chess is not about thinking, but in this situation with this much assistance, you could beat the opponent with a relatively high level, as long as you just kind of go through each individual piece like this and say, okay, where's that green? Looking for that green, and theoretically you should be able to beat him. Okay, so here's what I want to kind of show. So that you have the ability to choose a rating between level 1, which is 100 ELO, all the way up to 3000. Just the other day I was playing with assistance. Now I was trying to basically not necessarily test my own skills or test my own understanding of chess. I was trying to test the way the board works and how helpful is it. That's why, to me, playing over the board or online really didn't matter a whole lot right now for me to understand the board and how it works. So I was playing somebody, I think level like 2000 or over 2000, and I was playing on full assistance and basically just going by the greens, and I ended up winning the game. There were some moves that I felt like, wow, okay. So there were a couple of strategical moves where, the computer basically wanted me to move the pawn on the side or something, instead of like going forward and doing what I would naturally do, but I ended up winning the game anyways. It allowed me to learn some things while I did that, and learn how, especially in the beginning, they were kind of working differently with the openings and everything, but I found it very helpful overall, and that's why we're going to go ahead and jump in, and I'll show you guys some of the little caveats and some of the things I noticed. So let me just show you something to start off with. So here we're just going to start with level ELO of 100. So the very, very basic. Okay, board got loaded up. I hope I'm still recording. Now you can see here we're at assistance level 6. So here, hopefully on the board it'll show up. It believes that these are not so good moves. They're definitely not, they're not the best moves here. So it believes that these moves are, I'll show you some. Okay, so if we go to the assistance level of 6, okay, red is blunder, mistake, and inaccuracy, okay. Green is going to be good or excellent, and no, green is going to be excellent, best, and blue is going to be good or excellent. So here, as we could see, starting out, we have the knights going inwards here would be good, and the knights going on the side, it considers either mistakes, blunders, or inaccuracies. I'm assuming just inaccuracies, but basically it's giving you suggestions more or less, especially if you're just starting out playing the game and you really are not very familiar with how to develop pieces. Like, you know where the pieces move, but you're not really sure about where to develop your pieces. Let me show you guys something. When I went to middle school, and I didn't start playing chess until I was in high school. I remember the the very first game that I had in middle school, because I stayed after school, I remember. And some kid, and my first move was like this. I went here. And it's exactly what the opponent did, is he went here. And what did I do? Because I was like, oh, chess. I'm gonna, my strategy in the beginning was take the knights out on the front here and start just blasting away. Little did I know about chess or anything. So I took it out like this. And that's exactly what they did. He just took my piece right there. I remember that so clearly and so distinctly, and I was just so upset. And he ended up just wiping the floor with me, So I didn't go back to playing chess in middle school, but then towards high school I started playing chess more, and that's when I picked up, and that's when it became really interesting to me. I feel like going to like chess tournaments is just so awesome. But anyways, I'm digressing. So let's go back, okay? We're still at level 6 assistance, and I went back. As you can see here, by the way, if you can see the board here, look how immediate the response rate is. It shows you on your little phone where it believes that pieces can be taken to. See? That's kind of cool. But let me just close this real quick. Now, we started the game off with ELO of 100. If we drop this down to, let's say, ELO of 2500, okay, we're starting the same game with the same assistance level, and we start to see that one of the things that I noticed while playing, and this may not necessarily be immediately obvious right now, but depending on what type of level you choose on the ELO of the opponent, of the AI, it will give you different suggestions as far as what opening you should do. I've seen openings of E4 quite often as the best move. I have seen the board recommend D4 too on about a level, ELO level of 1300 or so. I don't know why it chooses. I don't know if it chooses randomly to assign. But obviously, in the end, it's up to you which opening, which pieces you want to move, because it's your game. And whether or not it tells you, yeah, you should go E4, it doesn't necessarily mean you should. You can do your own opening. And even if it tells you, yeah, this is a blunder, I mean, it's up to you. If you know what you're doing, you know you have a plan, then go a certain way. But let's just show you, this is, what, 2500? So we'll go ahead and go with that move, okay? So the computer did think for a little bit, and now the computer opening up with some kind of a side opening here. Here we go. I'm gonna just sort of move here, and let's see what the computer does. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So here I haven't seen the computer recommend this opening. But as you could see, it's quite interesting. If I look at and touch all the other pieces, I'm assuming that none of the other ones are going to be green at this time, except for this bishop here. So the bishop immediately wants to kind of start to attack. And if I go here, this is where the thinking comes in, okay? So this is where it allows us to sort of say, well, why is the computer doing this? Why is the computer... Let's just think out. Okay, I've pushed the bishop here. He can put the bishop in front, thereby take it with the queen, take it with the knight, or he can move the knight here. Not as likely, probably move the bishop because he's going to double up on the pawns, and that's just going to create a little bit of a mess there. Unless he's planning I'm planning to take out, and he's planning to sort of recalibrate everything, but I don't think that's the case. He's probably going to go with the bishop, then possibly go with the queen. If he does that, then we all end up losing a couple of bishops, and he's going to be a step ahead in development. But let's just go ahead and play it out, see what the... Okay, so he went with the knight. Interesting. So he just protected this way. Therefore, when he does that, his knight is kind of immobilized. He might want to try to kick me out of this spot if I don't move anywhere, but it's interesting to see. Let's see. Castling right away. That's interesting that it would suggest this, because we're really not in danger yet, at least based on my understanding of chess. I wouldn't necessarily jump into castle. You wouldn't necessarily want to lose any of that momentum, but let's just castle. Okay, that's fine. See what the computer is going to do. Yeah, so I kind of figured that's what we're going to do. Well, that's wild. Yeah, so after the opponent has brought the pawn out, it sort of puts me in a situation where, well, either I will take the knight or go away somewhere, which going backwards, may not necessarily be the best idea, since then I will have to be forced to move backwards here, and then he would force this over here, so it would just completely block my my bishop in here, and I would end up losing a bishop. So I wouldn't necessarily do that. I could take, and in fact, in this particular situation, my sort of a gut feeling is I probably would have just taken. In the beginning, sometimes that's not necessarily the worst thing to do, but if I did take, once again, he would be up on development, because then if he were to move his
either his queen or his bishop, that means that that piece has already been kind of, probably the bishop has taken out the piece, and then, but in this case, the computer says, no, you're going to go back. You're going to go back, which is not necessarily something that's obvious to me, but going back here, one of the things that we see here that would be different from is that that knight could have been over here if he didn't move it here to protect. So we did sort of kind of change things up. Therefore, like this piece is protected by this knight, but either way, we are castled, so that's kind of good. Let's take a look, see what it's suggesting. Okay, so now this is kind of interesting, but I can see where the computer believes that the best thing to do now is to sort of fight for this pawn structure over here. We have the, what do we have? We have, we don't even have this one out yet, but it believes that the best thing to do is prevent this pawn from moving forward. Let's just go ahead and do that and see what the response rate is that probably it's going to take out the bishop here, kind of be aiming that way, castle, and then sort of create the fight all over on this side. My assumption, but you know, like I said, it's interesting to see how this is playing out. But yeah, look at that. It's definitely trying to be playing on this side more. Okay, so this is what I thought it would do at some point. Yeah, that's if you were to go this way, you might as well. Was this the first capture? Yeah, okay. I guess it is. And now, by doing that, he's opening up the d file. And now my bishop is under attack, which I'm assuming the best thing to do is put the bishop somewhere else. I mean, I could have brought the queen out, but... Okay. Well, okay. So, level 25 ELO, huh? I think I played level 25 or something before, and I ended up losing, even with all the assistance. I'm not really sure if I missed one of the best moves somewhere, but I ended up losing. So it goes to show you that, you know, if you're playing against really high rating, you could still potentially lose. Okay, this wants to move the queen, protect the bishop, and then also put this pawn in danger in case, because there's nobody that's really protecting the knight now. I'm sure protection will be provided. Yeah, here we go. And then take the pawn, because the pawn's not protected. So we got a pawn out of it. And here now, let's see. No. See, look at all the options, and none of them are really all that good. Yes, I could take the pawn there, but it believes that there's a much better move than just taking a pawn, which is, it's good to see that, okay. Interesting. So to take out the pawn here, to provide the space for the bishop to come out, also potentially for the knight to come out here to the square. It also potentially protects it does a lot. It protects the bishop here. It controls this square. Dang, this one is pretty aggressive. Pretty aggressive, as you can see. That pawn is definitely being moved quite a lot. One of the good moves here, not the best moves, you can block it. But here's the thing, at this very moment, the only thing that's concerning is maybe the bishop right here. The queen has to come out sideways in order to come over here and become a real threat. This could become a threat as he pushes the pawn closer, as he pushes the rook out. It all could become a little bit of a threat. So here what I could see is probably wanting to take out the knight. So let's just go ahead, and so it puts extra, sort of forks the pawn. Oh, okay. Well, that's nice. Not necessarily the move I would have. That's nice. It's smart. Okay. It's not wanting me to do any of those moves. But I'm assuming it would rather. Let's see. Is there a situation where... No, right here. Okay, well, yeah. Yeah, this is just a normal protection move, you know, protecting your pieces. And here it's you know, doubling up on it. So a little bit more pressure now. A little bit more pressure. Let's see. This 25 level, I don't know if it really feels like, okay. So we're gonna end up losing what? Not much, because here it's protected. The pawn, if the bishop takes bishop, the pawn takes the bishop, and then what? The rook is gonna take the pawn? No. So we're good there. We're kind of good, I guess. Now it's pushing further. Okay, interesting. We're not gonna take, obviously, but we're just gonna create a pawn chain here. Let's see. Now it wants to probably take out the bishop, put it here, and then maybe bring out the queen and kind of aim for this square or this square. Not a very bad thought. It's probably wanting me to proceed with the knight. Okay. Jeez. Okay. What if I were to... No, see, it doesn't... Oh, what? Yeah, there is a good move here. Definitely not a move I would have done. Okay. So, protecting the knight, and now the opponent is doing what I kind of figured they were going to do, and that's to put the queen out and start to sort of get it more active, because it recognizes that there's some threat here. There's a lot of threat on as far as... This is wild. Look at this. Now the computer wants us to go here. Why didn't it go there like right in the first place? That's interesting. Okay. Well, I think we're going to end up losing, probably. Our assistance is just... Okay, well... Take. Yeah, okay. Can we double up? That's a good move to double up, but not the best move. This is great moves all around, I suppose. Move any of the pawns? I don't think so. No. Okay. Well, that's not something I would have done. Why would I do that? Why would I? I mean, why would I do that? That is not a move I would have done, but I mean, because it's gonna leave this pawn unprotected. Okay, let's just do that. He's gonna take the pawn, no? Okay, didn't take the pawn. Little do I know. Good move, not so good move. All right. This is kind of going beyond my understanding a little bit. I would have definitely not done a lot of these moves. Yeah, I can see based on the position that some good moves here, not the best. Yeah, okay, double up. Let's see what it's gonna do. And pay attention to the fact that we've actually just been playing based on the computer's recommendations at this point. Nothing but the computer recommendations. Okay. Whoa. Putting my queen here in this spot. Oh no. Okay. He's doubling up too. Okay. Let's see. Moving the pawns forward. Interesting. Okay. Well, I am doubled up here too, so that's not necessarily the worst thing. Okay. All right. Yeah, take. We're kind of loosening up this pawn structure here. Good move, not the best. Okay. One good move here, not the best. Interesting. That's, like I said, this is something a little bit beyond my my understanding. Okay. Pushing the pawn forward. Pawn is protected by the knight. Yeah, finally taking the knight out. Okay. And then it's gonna put me in a kind of a pickle here because the queen is protected by the bishop and the rook, and basically just kind of a okay, trade queens. Let's do it. Check. Take queen. Actually, see this sort of in between move. It allowed the rook to come out from a less active file to a more active one, and it didn't take much, but right in between, kind of neat. Good to see something like this happening. Take. All right, getting some elimination. Now we're attacking the. Now we're attacking it. Okay, let's see. What do we have left? Not a whole lot of good stuff left. Huh. Okay. All right. So what? Attack the pawn over there on the side. All right. Move the pawn away. Let's see. Are we taking the pawn? We're taking the pawn. They're taking the pawn. Yep. Just a lot of liquidation going on right now. So let's see. Moves. Good moves. Not the best. One good move here, and let's see. I'm assuming somewhere with the pawns. What? No good moves left? Nope. No good moves here. No, one good move here. We're forking the pieces here, I guess. Okay. I see what it's trying to do. Maybe. Okay, take the. Oh, see. Would I have done that really if I was playing? Knowing that. Well, maybe. I don't know. Okay, let's just take. It's gonna take the. Well, okay, it's not gonna take it. And let's see. Yep, now it will. Interesting. It's not wanting me to take. It's not the best move, it says. Check. Still not the best move. Go here. Had I been playing in a tournament this particular game? No. Still doesn't think it's the best. Okay, take now. Interesting, okay. Take. It's kind of a very elegant game. Take now. Check. Move. We're kind of picking up pace here now. We're going to be ending the game here and also ending the video in just a little bit. Okay, I see what we're doing. No, I would have gone there probably. Lots of good moves. Taking the pawn. Taking the pawn. So it wants to promote those pawns that it has. Lots of king action here now. This pawn's protected, which is good to see. This pawn is not, but actually kind of nice to see that. Oh, I would have gone here, but maybe not. Wants to come and attack this one. No, I'm probably just, yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay. Just wants to protect that pawn when it gets up there. Very interesting. Check. So now we're kind of getting closer to the end of the game, but let's see. Here we go. Yes. Interesting. Okay. And now our piece here is under attack, which is not good. But it knows that I can continue going forward because of that little maneuver. That's why that rook was there, and that's why it allowed me to do that. I'm assuming that, no, not really pushing you forward. Okay, get closer to here. Check. Oh, look at that. Now we got two good moves here, but I'm going to go ahead and go here. Hopefully it's the better one. And it's probably wanting to check here. Not the best move yet. Interesting, okay. Take the pawn. So now that the pawn is out of the equation. But look at this, it's not taking that pawn. It says go ahead and check here. Closer, okay. Check. Obviously we're gonna move here. Okay. Not yet. Okay, well, yeah, obviously not yet because it would just check me. All right. There we go. Wow. This is a fierce little ending here. Okay, he's going to give a check here. Yes, I want a queen. I'm assuming we're going to get a queen, and then we're going to end up, yep, losing the queen right away. Yep. And what are we getting to a draw? I'm assuming. I don't know. All right. Okay, we're protecting that piece. Ooh, this is nice. Okay. Two good moves here. I'm gonna go with this one. And here we go. Okay, so moving on at this point, couple of good moves here, but essentially, well, not really. Look, that's it, mate. We've been able to get the king right where we need him. We didn't even need to finish the game by promoting anything. So, as you can see, very interesting. Very interesting sort of movement, very interesting recommendations from the computer. I found it personally instructive. The more games that I feel like you play with assistance, the more you're going to try to understand where as you could see, there were a lot of moves where I was like, well, I wouldn't have done that. I would have moved this way instead. It just didn't seem like it was obvious moves. But this where we're playing against level 2500, and we were able to win. Yeah, 2500 ELO, and we were able to win with being 5 points up. So that was kind of neat to see. Like I said, I'm not really showing you guys this video to say, oh, look at me, I can beat a level 25, because I wasn't the one who beat it, it was the computer. But at least it allows us to see the nuance of start game to finish of the game, of how the computer system is able to help us out.
Well, that's about it for this video, my friends. As always, thank you for dropping by. Thank you for taking the time to spend time with me and my videos. Hope everybody's doing well. You guys stay productive, stay safe, stay healthy, most importantly. And I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye-bye.